as I deal with the normal stresses of life. I take comfort in that there's an old Hebrew saying that says, when the going gets tough, the tough go shopping. That's it. Yeah, it's there in the Bible someplace, I'm sure. But this is something that was inspired by that thought anyway. It's called The Real Thing, a Retail Fantasy. I remember when it happened, I was feeling pretty down. I thought I'd lift my spirits with some shopping in the town. The lights, the noise, the music, and the crush of humankind would all unite to drive the day's disasters from my mind. To get the full effect, I chose a huge department store, the kind with festive banners and a glass revolving door. An outstretched hand, a clockwise push, that's all it took for me to join the teeming masses for some retail therapy. I searched through all the clothing, the jewelry, and the rest, but every purchase option seemed to get me more depressed. No matter where I turned and looked, the offerings seemed to be designed for someone younger, thinner, wealthier than me. So I gave up, admitted to myself that I'd been beat, but the soda machine called to me as I turned toward the street. A jolt of caffeine, saccharin, and caramel coloring, and hey, the sign assured me that it was the real thing. My coin slid to the bottom, the drink shot down the hole, but the can slipped through my grasp and on the floor began to roll. I reached out, suddenly I felt I'd slipped into a dream, because that can of Coke, I swear, chugged off on its own steam. It zipped through ladies' lingerie and down the housewares aisle. It hopped the escalator with me following all the while. Although I feared I'd lost my mind, I held tight to the trail as it rolled down a darkened hall beyond a year's end sale. I took a look around just to make sure the coast was clear, then followed down the corridor, my heart pounding with fear. Down at the end, a mirrored wall gleamed dimly in the light. I stared and saw the can roll through that mirror out of sight. I walked up to the mirror and I reached out with my hand. My fingers slipped right through like Alice's in Wonderland. I gulped, then squeezed my whole self through to see what I would find. I found a store, but nothing like the one I'd left behind. The shelves were lined with presents, all in shining paper wrapped. But as I reached for one, I felt my shoulder being tapped. This one's for you, the salesman said, we're really glad you came. He handed me a box, and on the card was my own name. I'm not quite sure I get it, I said, a little lost. What exactly is this gift, and how much does it cost? It's not for sale, the man replied, it's meant for you alone. Besides, it makes no sense to buy what you already own. But what's inside? I asked the man, he said, it's hard to tell. You could be a stranger to this gift or know it very well. But if you want to use the gift, there's really just one way. Don't take it home, but leave it here to always give away. He pointed out an empty space upon a nearby shelf. I hesitated, hoping I could keep it for myself. But surely you have something I can take home from the store. Without something in hand, I'll never know what this was for. The salesman smiled and said to me, now here's the tricky part. You don't need things in hand when you can hold them in your heart. And if you feel you're missing something, well, that may in fact be true. But that empty space feels fuller when you give the gift of you. I smiled and thanked the man and left my box there in the store. And suddenly I found myself in the real world once more. but not before I stopped by that machine and bought a Sprite.